innovation, and it runs in the blood a bit because it was actually a Bandt who invented the ute. And if you go down, he worked for Ford in Geelong back in the 1930s, and the brief was to develop a car that would get the pigs to the market on Saturday and wife to church on Sunday. And from that, the ute was actually invented in Australia. Of course, he was an employee, so we're not rolling in riches. Ford did quite well out of it, but not so much the Bandt family. But you'll notice the Lewis Bandt Bridge as you drive outside of Geelong. And it's something that for us has run in the family for many, many years. And I think the logical next step is, of course, electrical vehicles. And you would have seen 50,000 students out marching yesterday demanding that governments take climate action in Melbourne alone. And when around about, depending on what year you look at, around about 1 in 6 tonnes of the pollution that Australia puts into the atmosphere comes from transport, you understand that in Australia we've got a really significant opportunity and challenge here to transition over to electric. One of the things that we're going to need to do is get our electricity system running on 100% renewables, so that then that will in turn unlock an enormous amount of development in the transport sector. One of the things that concerns me is that in Australia we don't yet have a target for electric vehicles, or indeed any real strategy to grow the uptake of electric vehicles. What I want to see, what my party wants to see, is that from 2030 it should be illegal to sell internal combustion engines in Australia. Cars powered by those, vehicles powered by those. And if we put that deadline in place, that would give enough time for the market to transition and for new industries to develop here. And it's a very, very realistic time frame. It's the time frame that the science requires in terms of climate change, but it's also, they've managed to put a man on the moon within 10 years by setting themselves the goal at the beginning of a decade, and I think it's exactly the same kind of thing we can do here. If we see that from 2030 we'll end the sale of new petrol-based vehicles in Australia, I think you would see an enormous uptake in new developments and also a new market that would grow. So we're going to continue to push for that, and in the meantime there's a number of things we can do, like making it cheaper and easier to buy electric vehicles and removing some of the luxury car tax that's on them. We're facing our own challenge at the moment. I've got a plug-in hybrid, a Mitsubishi plug-in hybrid, and although the federal government will give me a free card to allow me to go to any petrol station to fill up, they're not yet prepared to put in a charging station in various places so that we can go and plug the car in. So there's some simple things like that show that the federal government hasn't really clocked on yet to the scale of the opportunity or the scale of the challenges that are facing us. But what I love about this here is that everyone's showing it's possible, and it's possible right now. It's not the future, it's now. And I think that's a message that we've got to drum home to politicians and to the general public, is that this is technology that's available now. And if you look at, say, the energy space, what's happened with the price of solar panels over the last 10 years, getting down to the point where, because of some initial government support, they can now almost stand on their own 2 feet. Things that people would have thought were out of reach and were only the province of people, of well-heeled people, and now solar panels, some of the biggest uptake of solar panels comes in low-income suburbs. And I think that's where we need to get to with electric vehicles as well. We need to get to a point where people stop thinking about it as something that will happen in the future or something that only happens if you've got a lot of money, and start making it clear that this is going to be the future. This is going to be what everyday people have to do, and the technology is available here and now. So I think it's increasingly what you're showing is that it's no longer a question of technology, although the technology is still obviously improving all the time. It's no longer a question of technology, but really it's a question of political will. And part of my job is to take what's happening here on a go-kart track in Port Melbourne and turn it into something that happens on every road around Australia. So I really want to thank you for the leadership that you're all showing, and this is something that I can't wait to get back to Canberra and tell people about. I don't know how much longer we're going to be back in Canberra or how much longer the government's going to last. Your guess is as good as mine, but I think when people hear and get to see what is actually happening, I think it's something that's going to be very, very inspirational. So it's my great pleasure to be here at the opening of it, and having seen a version of this several years ago, I think it's Swinburne University, was was it?
Yeah.
Like seeing how much it has grown in leaps and bounds, I think just shows you the level of interest that there is, and I think this is within a very, very short period of time. This isn't going to be something that just happens once on a weekend every week. It's going to be something that happens every day in this country. So well done, and thanks very much for having me here.